Yeah. Mai ke awalao o pu'uloa a I ka pili o ka he velina mai ke aloha o Honouliuli. Aloha, I'm Kavena. I'm the Hawaii Pacific Resources Librarian at the University of Hawaii West Oahu, and we'd like to welcome you to the first presentation of Mo'olelo. Mo'olelo is part of the Big Read Hawaii, which seeks to broaden our understanding of the world and its people through reading, conversation, art, and connection. Big mahalo to Kapi'olani CC Library for taking the lead on this collaboration. We'll be dropping a link to the full schedule of Big Read Hawaii events if you would like to attend more presentations like this one. Before we get started, please let us know where you're from or where you're tuning in from in the chat. We'll also be sharing a link to post questions if you have anything that comes up during Uncle Kaipo's presentation. So I'm really excited for our speaker today, and it's been a pleasure to get to know him over the past couple of months. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Uncle Kaipo Pomaikai to share his mo'olelo and lessons learned from the kai.
Thank you. Aloha. Aloha over here, everybody. I got no idea who's on and was somebody going to say where they were from? They can start right from the top.
Yeah, it's in the chat. So you have people from Kapolei.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah, you see the chat.
That button, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Gotta go put gas in my computer pretty soon. No, everything good. Okay, and I got it. Aloha, everybody. I can see your names over here, and I'm honored to have you here. First of all, my name is Paul Kaipo Pomaikai Sr. I am the son of Josephine Manini Pili La'au Leong Pomaikai. No Kamalung Molokai, and the son of Samuel Alona Elders Kaopua Malietoa, no Waipio Valley. I, as a child growing up in Nanakuli, one of 9 siblings in a 1-bedroom home, and you gotta call my uncle here because I'm gonna be 70 pretty soon, and I need notes. So anyway, growing up in nine siblings on Akawai Road, every day for the boys we'd wait for my father, and at 16:30. He and his 3 sons would take the upena goggles and go throw a net. The ocean, just to segue into this, the ocean was a big and is still a big part of our lives. Even though we live far away, we make every effort to get to the coast and see the Pacific. But it affects you in more ways than you'd ever dream, even those of you who have never been to sea. So going with my father, we used to go throw a net down in Nanakuli along Farrington Highway, and we'd go as far as Nakatani. For those of you who know Nanakuli, it's quite a ways from Hakima Road. But my father always had us bring 3 of Mama's not so good pillowcases, and then we'd fill the 3 up. Sometimes coming out by the bakery or our young homestead as far as Nakatani. And we didn't know what my father was doing, but what he did was, on the way home, for that long a stretch, he'd know people, and he'd just go over there, give us a bag here. We'll take them. They're not home, just put them in a sink. Make sure no more doggy if you're gonna put them by the door. But he used to give away fish, and we lived in a 1-bedroom home on Akawai Road. We did not move until my 9th sibling was born. So we live in a 1-bedroom home. And because we did that, my father's a very good carpenter. What he did was he built out around the house. He was a veranda. And then he never bought nails. He never bought totang. He never bought paint or cement. Every time he wants something, it would just magically show up. And we find out that all the i'a my father was catching and giving away reap those benefits, because he couldn't, on a salary of $41 a week, give any more out to take care of our home. Anyway, he built that with the screened it in, roofed it over, built 9 pune'e for us keiki, and we lived in that room, in that house until my brother Happy, Matthew, was born, and we moved to the to Hakima Road. But in our home, we always had chores. Every kid, as far as soon as you were capable and could safely do it and complete the task in the house, you were assigned. And you were assigned to that task until further relieved by your papa. And then, because we had, 9 kids, we all had to go do stuff and all of that. So every chore, and as soon as they were safely, taken care of, we had to, again, contribute to the home until you graduated, and then you get promoted, which is when you get 18 years old and you move out. That was it. And all of the time growing up in Nanakuli, the ocean, it was right across, less than 100 yards away from our home. Of 9 children, I was born, the only one born at home. On my birth certificate, it says Lot 13 Chan Track, rural Waianae. And because of that, in the early hours of the evening, my mom could hear the ocean and she could see outside that it was dark. So she just named me Kaipo, or Waters of the Night. And that is how my name became. When we went down to the beach, is one thing. When we all went to the beach, we had a elder or a buddy system. You do not go to the beach, and for us, it was right across the street. So what we would do is the older siblings would take care of the young ones if they do take care or take the responsibility. Then my mom held them to that. And for us growing up, it was like Tanamoshi. You put in what you get out. So all that they did for us growing up, when our turn came to chaperone or be the babysitter, we just took over. But what I used to like about the ocean was how it provided for our family. And at a very early age, made me a capitalist. What I used to do was have my mom save all the Gerber baby food bottles for me, and I had a drawer on the door of the refrigerator that was mine. And what I do is I go to the beach after learning from my dad. I pick up limo for Auntie Hannah and Uncle Moku Yokua. What I do is I get my Auntie Hannah's favorite limo was lipoa, and lipoa like for her lomi, and it grows on a rock in a sandy area, just like kupe'e. But we used to get that for Auntie, and then she used it to lomi. I used to go pick limo too from my father, and then go down to the sea, get some good sea salt and sea salt water, and make chili pepper water. I'd make a bottle for Auntie and all of that. I had a good enterprise at 25 cents a bottle. So by the time Auntie was done with her month, brother was styling, man. I had money for go movies, for go any kind of place. But I always took my friends. I just tell them, you guys bring the snacks. And what we used to do is for the kukui nut in the area. My father, after we bring the fish home from Kekai, Aski go get kukui nut, build fire, put the rack on top, and we make our own inamona. And I used to make a bottle for my auntie. She especially liked that. And Hauki and Vana, we catch. So the ocean gave us all that. And boy, the art of swimming came, not a hard lesson. It came at repetition. And at Pukapans Beach Park, there's 3 stones, a large one on the beach, one mid-channel, and a papa on the left. So that's how we learn how to swim. We're going. It was repetition and it was learning. These lessons learned carry me through baby time, teenage, and eventually to Hokanaka. What the sea has taught me was position, timing, and execution. Uncle got to read this because I don't like get them wrong. The tree applied to the aspects of life and help me to anticipate my turns and manage the bumps and always know that whatever it was, to live on my conviction of what have I done to better my life and how I could always do better financially, physically, mentally, everything you apply that to your life. It's like fishing. You stalk your prey, you know, whether it's day or night dive, take the right position. Surfing is a lineup. Get in a lineup, make sure you had a little help from your friends. Sometimes the guys on the beach going, back, back. And so we all paddle out for nothing and brought her gone. And it helped me to navigate through everything I did. I actually attended Kapiolani Community College and had a short stint in the culinary arts in 1968. And after that, I was hired at the Makai Inn and Country Club, and that was cool. As I worked my way up, and I had help from a lot of friends, you know. But again, to be in the area of my career coming into this, the things I learned from the ocean was important. But what I learned from my grandpa was more important. To open your ear, open your eye, and speak slowly when you have to. But my father, he always taught me that axiom, you don't work, you don't eat. And I'll get to a book that they wrote about that, just all of that. And what they did was they took me from the tugboats, cook, ordinary seaman to assistant port captain of a leading ocean towing company in the state of Hawaii called Sauce Brothers. I thank Dale Sauce and his ohana for making Sauce Brothers one of the premier sauce towing companies in the state of Hawaii. And what I want to share with you right now is a book that was written by Kulea Ochan and illustrated by Christy Deosiaro. And it's called Uku Kahana, Uku Kaloa. Okay. And it is, I think they're going to put up a link where you folks can look at this and get it. And it's from the Kanehunamoku Sailing or Voyaging Academy. Another aspect, Uncle, we're going to touch up that dovetails into Uku Kahana, Uku Kalua, is the state of the towing industry when it came home to Hawaii in 1990. There was a lot of jobs, but not too many locals working in the jobs because you had to have a certificate, a license. A lot of guys didn't have the funds or didn't have the means to get a ticket. So what Auntie and I did in 2002, we opened up the Waianae Maritime Academy. And the Waianae Maritime Academy was an entry-level school, and we graduated over 200 cadets from the year 2002 to I think around 2008. And I wanted the school to be named that, and I wanted to be out of Waianae. That is why, you know, with really amazing help along the way, from Mark Silliman, Lucy Gay, William Makama, Peter Quigley, David and Wendy was a staunch supporter of the Waianae Maritime Academy and attended our graduations. And but what I focused on in my instruction at this academy was the drug and alcohol policies that we have. In the maritime industry, you cannot test for any illegal drugs, and you cannot indulge before you get to work. Because if the captain or anybody has a hankering, they can ask and call in for you to be tested. In other words, from the Department of Transportation, U.S. Coast Guard, under the auspices of the Homeland Security, does not tolerate that. So once we get that set, we can get into training them for what they need to enter. And most of all, what the important thing was getting the legal documents, merchant marine credentials, other certificates that you lifeboat, first aid, CPR, and the Waianae Maritime Academy provided all of that. And what happened was in 2008, after we mortgaged the house for the last class, Auntie finally told me that we gotta go back to work. So I didn't know I was not working. And we dissolved the Waianae Maritime Academy, but a blessing is the Maritime Career Exploration Program by the Marimed Foundation and Kanihuna Moku Voyaging Academy with Kapena Bani Kahapea is taking that reins of introducing our appeal or anyone who has a hankering to go to sea, and all of the jobs that are available at sea. My role on the waterfront, working on the tugboats, transition again into the office, and again without helping hands of people along the way who saw fit, and I'm going to tell you why. When I was part work, I wouldn't work harder. When I was part working harder, I wouldn't work even harder. I had to sell me. And as I did that, I have a lot of friends, family who came along and helped me along the journey. Pastor Sarah and Samuel Keela from Nanakuli, who was the head of our church. And going all the way back, how this all happened with Senator James Aki and Richard, what happened? Richard Togikawa, yeah, that was a good one. You know, from Nani Kapuna School, all the way for that, they nurture you and they get you through that. Getting up in age, Jay Fafaro was the youngest executive chef, you know, in the state of Hawaii at that time. And again, going into Maka, and after the cooking, I went to Kwajalein and worked under people like Mel Carr, Captain Kalili Kani, Captain Smith, Loving Johnson, Kaimina Awao. There were common names of captains down under, because we love the ocean and we love to work in the ocean. So we did all of that. But it was not without people like that at Sauce Brothers and Uncle Jack Robinson and Tibai. Doug Wan, Red, Remo Capena Brad, Chief Bill Fresky, they all allowed me to get out there and get into the community and bring guys into the industry. If they did not have a way, our friends at PNR, Charlie, Hawaiian Tug and Barge, YB, they'd call me up. After a while, after I got who are these guys, Kaipo? Where you got them from? I said, well, one guy he was down in, this one came out of Clean and Sober House and all that. And today, this many years later, they're captains, engineers, cooks, and their kids are getting into the industry. And their grandkids are looking toward moving into this industry. But I'd like to thank all of them. Mostly, I want to thank my parents, Sam and Josephine. They have been and still is my life, because I have learned so much from them, even before I made the age of 10, that it was amazing, and this world is really amazing. And what I'd like to do, Kavena, is we'll take some questions.
Okay. Somebody asked, what was the hardest thing about being in a big family?
The hardest thing, it was not food, because we had a lot. It was clothes, and who can sit in the front seat. That was a fiasco.
Okay, this one is actually my question. So, you know, me and you, we've talked about how like what you learn from the ocean can apply to your everyday life. And so I guess you kind of touched on it a little bit in the beginning about when you're in the lineup to surf, right? You have to have the right position, you have to have the right timing. So how does that translate into real life? And And how do you persevere, I guess, if you're in the wrong position at the wrong time?
Well, first of all, local knowledge is a lot. Yeah. In a lineup, you know the current, you know which way, and what coming over the reef next to you. And the second part of your question,
How do you persevere, like when you physically wipe out and when you wipe out in life?
oh, okay, when you get hungry, and you're gonna get hungry. See, my father's philosophy of you know work, you know eat. Yeah, that's mine. And anybody around me, close to me, first thing I ask them, what you do? Oh, oh, okay. Yeah, pretty soon we'll come. But what I do is how I persevere is my family, my ohana, and what I never wanted to be a burden to my family. And I'm not gonna start now. So the best thing I could do was take care of my ohana, take care of what I have to take care, so that they don't need to take care of me. Next question.
What do you think was the best piece of advice that you got while you were in Opio?
No. How to use the word no. You know, Hawaiians got a certain way of expressing what, 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 you know, that kind. And no get the same thing. No, hell no. Oh, not today. It's a lot of ways to do it. I gotta go do something. That's another no. When you decide to yourself that whatever you're doing is not gonna be better than what you thought, you know, quickly get out. Or excuse yourself, you know, you gotta go lure, like my brother do when he time for pay the tap and he stay in a car already. Bro, where you went? Oh, he go use the bathroom. Know when to say no and when to go.
That was really good. That's a really good good advice for everybody. So there's a question in the chat that did you ever get seasick, and do you have advice on how to get your sea legs so you don't get sick?
Yeah, so I go sick and I go to sea and I get sick today. And the only reason why it smells. Whatever you smell, the motion, it take a while, just sit up in the galley before you go up to the bridge so that you can feel it. But no, I cannot even remember the last time I got seasick. And if you do, they have products in the drugstores, you know, a lot of stuff, products I cannot tell you, but just ask them for motion sickness and stuff like that. You need to enjoy it. My wife used to get sick watching Fishing with Bruce Carter, and she ended up an engineer on big ships. I don't know, but I guess that's the way it goes. What you gotta do, just go, you know, just toss your sweet breads over the side, and then go drink plenty Canada Dry ginger ale.
That's good advice. Okay, there's a couple more. What was the most important thing your father taught you, and what was the most important thing your mother taught you?
My father, he taught me if you don't work, you don't eat. Simple as that. And I like eat. And I like eat good food, so I go get good job so I can buy good food. However you want to put it. But and my mom, she taught me to be kind. that was that was like okay. I had to excuse myself a lot during competition or just conversations, but I always listen to my mom, and I think I've been a pretty kind guy, even when you don't like me be kind, you know, because that's why it is. Aloha, no more on and off. Yeah.
Yep, totally. So this is a question from Manu. Were you ever scared while you were on the ocean?
I said, Manu, probably only more 1,000 times. No, One I remember is going across Alenuihaha Channel, doing 1.1 knots. After I left Molokini, I had to tack from Molokini to Upolu and tack all the way to Hilo before making one right turn. In Alenuihaha, I was going 1.1 knot backwards, and we were going to get to Hilo late. And the evening fell, and it was my watch. So I excused the cook, told everybody on your own, and no do nothing, because I don't want nobody getting hurt down there. And I got my guitar, put my foot up, and played Gabby all the way to Upolu. But we hit a swell, we went down, and we have height windows, ports where you can see out on the roof. And then our whole front is all glass. And I went down, we went down on a tug pono with the barge skipping on, and we went up. As we went up, the wave came over the front of the boat, of the tug, and I could see really cool, right on He-11, the moon through the swell out of my glass. And then when we went down, you could feel the whole tug shudder. And that was the key to slow down and sweeten up the wire so that we don't lose the barge. But that was like, and that was every other wave all the way to Hilo. Took us about, geez, it was 38 hours, 39 hours to get there. It usually takes 22 to 24. But that was my Siamese night, we call it.
Mahalo, Uncle. This question is from Lahia Manu. They ask, how were you taught in reading the ocean and the tide?
It's in the book. It's called Tide Charts and Tables. There's certain aspect of Kekai that you know. When you get out there at a certain point, a beam might peel, and that you know what's going to happen. And because Uncle work on tugboats, we don't need sail. We power, and we power through whatever. Reading the ocean, I've learned from my friends, Chad Paishan, and all of them, of how the mechanics of that life of voyaging works. And Uncle will never claim to be an expert on that, because if no more smoke, I don't like go. I like go from A to B, and that's it, G, F, G, H. And that was, okay, next question. Did I answer it?
I think so.
You sure?
Yeah.
Right back with Uncle Neville.
Okay, so these two are kind of related.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking, who are your siblings and did they work in similar professions as you? And has anyone in your family followed in your footsteps?
No one was ever insane enough to do that. My oldest brother Sam passed away, and my older sister Joanne, Uilani, Pomaikai SR. My sister May Leslie. Joanne lives in Nanakuli, and May Leslie is married to my amazing brother-in-law, Neil, and they live in Oregon, Corvallis, Oregon. My sister Laverne, who also lives in Oregon, my brother Princeton, who lives in Oregon, and there's Moses. He was the one that always, when time for pule, he wasn't around. But when Pudo's Moses lives in Texas. And then Faith, my sister Faith, lives in Makaha, and my brother Happy, he lives in Redmond, Oregon. Those my. Oh, my wife reminded me. You followed in their footsteps, and you cannot, because when you go that way, you got to turn around and come back the other way. So you always follow. And I was number 4 in the middle. I had a lot of following. the other part of the question.
I think they were asking if any of maybe your
Oh,
kids or any nieces, nephews followed
yeah,
you.
yeah. Auntie Donna, she took my class. IBEW called, and because you got to join a union, she took my class, got her certificates. The manager, Bonnie Kalomo, called me up. Hey, Kaipo, yeah. Donna, get her stuff, man. I go, yeah, yeah. She goes, oh, okay. You know what? I said, call me. You know, the next night she was on the Matsonia heading to the West Coast as the wiper with Captain P and I and the crew. And her first voyage out of Honolulu, I was by Sand Island. First time ever going like that. Oh, then I went straight to Hanaras go eat. That was good. But no, none of my family, my wife is actually, yeah, a junior engineer with MFOW. She sailed on Matson. She sailed with the president, the Pope, the American president lines. Anyway, and her hitch was from New York to Singapore. Through the Straits, Mediterranean, Suez, all the Indian Oceans, Straits of Malacca, Singapore, and back. So it was a long hitch. My son-in-law is a captain. He's a captain with PNR right now, and they work off of the SPM, the fuel mooring out at Kalailua.
Awesome. Well, whenever Auntie like jump in, I know you can hear me, Auntie. Whenever you like jump in, jump in.
Yeah.
So this is a question from the chat. What's your favorite memory of being a captain?
My favorite memory of being a captain, watching this man get his captain's license. He had a number of children, no more home, and he was just moving from. And he came to Waianae Maritime Academy, and he said, Uncle, I can't, hey, come. So took him and trained him, and always was, I don't care what you do, you work hard. So that was probably 2004. And today he is a captain. His son is, I think, a captain or a mate. He has grandkids looking to go. And my thing has always been, if I can take care of my family, all a guy need is on break so that he can take care of his. So if I can, I get $2, I give you one, that little bit got him over the hump. And then today, about over 200 cadets that went to Waianae Maritime, a lot of them sailing today and have children sailing today. So my best, I can say, memory was watching him get his master's license.
That's awesome. Okay. Here's a little bit of a pivot, but
Yes.
what advice do you have for young people who want to pursue a career that the parents don't support?
A career that your parents don't support?
Right.
Yeah, well, just for you. And as you grow older, if you're gonna, once you're 18, you can make your own choices. But prior to that, if your career choice start earlier than that, you cannot live by what your parents dictate you to do. You can only live by the traditions and values they gave you. That is no can run away. That kind of stuff. Everything else is thank you, mom, thank you, dad. Because of the 41 years I've sailed, I never had a job. I look forward to going to work. I enjoyed myself. You need to let your parents know that that is not what you want to do. And if you tell them what you're going to do it. Don't be walking on the fence. Make up your mind. They're going to give you as much help as you want, as you can handle. But in the end, it's your choice. And once you make your choice, if you fail, no shame. Come back and go the other way.
Okay. So here's another question. You said that the sea taught you three main things: position, timing, and execution. Can you please speak more about these three ideas?
Yeah. When we first of all, when we surf and when we went to sea, where we left from, any voyage I can tell you, is key to where you're going. So when you position yourself in life, you position yourself. And then once you get there, you stick to it. Don't be running around. Don't be changing your mind and all of that. In my life, when I went from, I have never been unemployed since I started working, period. I don't even know when that was. I've never collected unemployment. But your timing is always going to be right now. If you go on and you're looking for something, no wait till it happens, then you gotta go train, go do it. I told guys, stop watching a TV, get out those manuals and train. Your position, your timing, and what was the other one?
Position, timing. I think it was. Oh, good. This was yours.
I was trying to look for them. I needed time. I just,
Execution.
yeah.
Thank you, Manu.
Oh, no, execution is why mayor on a bad day when your timing and your position wasn't that good. That is execution. If you can touch the bottom at Waimea Bay, that was a good day, after wiping out. Your execution, don't be substantial about it. If you're gonna make that execution, do it. I was having so much fun this morning reading all this stuff. Anyway, I got to read my notes. But yeah, position, timing, execution. What else is there? Listen to the traffic Nakai, get on there, boom, position yourself, go right, not left, And then when you do make it, make sure if you can, when you get there, look back, see if you can pull anybody else up.
Okay, this is a fun one. If you weren't a captain, what would you have been doing career-wise?
An executive chef.
Yeah.
I love to cook. I love to cook. I've cooked for the Western. I cooked for island holidays. From Makaha, I went to Hanalei Plantation. If you can believe that. All us old fogies know where that was. Then that closed, went to Cocoa Palms. And then I worked for John Bareilles at the Sheraton for a little while. Clarence Nishi was my idol. He was amazing. And when I walked in there, he asked me one question. I answered it. He said, "Can you start tonight?" I said, "Yeah." And this is on the island of Kauai at the Cocoa Palms. Us guys from Hawaii, Honolulu, we was like the plague to the Kauai guys. So you just have to go marry a girl from over there. But if you're from Honolulu, you might as well be from the West Coast, man. And so at that time, Kapiolani was going at the testosterone level nobody can handle. And Kapiolani was a school to go to. And because I was a small alumnus of that, it was like, no show him nothing, no tell him where I can open a stay, But it was good fun. After a while, we became family. All those guys I cooked with on Kauai, it was like, man, really, when you get to know, would it show you how to make bagong? That's an art. Are you kidding? Hawaiian salt and fish. No can go. You screw that recipe up, you done. Okay. Next question. We got some.
Yeah, so there's a couple of people actually wondering what's your favorite thing to cook, or what type of dishes do you cook?
Oh man, sweet sour spare ribs, and roast pork, and then I like chow suey pork and pork hum. I love pork. It's too much pork. It's no good. Uncle Lato, I make a mean one, killer sweet sour, just like Hanaras in Waianae.
Okay, we'll remember that when we come visit you. Yeah.
Call it.
Yeah. Okay, here's another one. Besides the words of your father, no work, no eat, do you have a motto or an ʻŌlelo no ʻeau that you live by?
Yeah, and it is, if you have your pen and your paper, you can write it down, put this in your wallet, right in front of your credit card, and then mark one out, put them in the back of your credit card. And the motto is, what have I done to better my life? You can apply that to, like I said, finances, health, relationships, career choices. Stop at the stop sign, you guys. Anyway, what have I done to better my life every day? Every time you do something, brush on the right instead of the left. That kind of stuff. Little stuff that you change make your life better. And after it gets really amazing, you can make it better.
Mahalo, that's really good advice.
Oh,
So there's one more in the chat. How much sea time do you need to go for your captain's license?
captain's license, 1, 2, A, B, 2. Ordinary, safely 5 years before you get your master's license. You start off as an ordinary on the deck, and then you get able-bodied seaman ticket. Your next is a mate, then after mate, first, second, third mate, and then captain. But about 5 good years. And that in that 5 years, you got to learn what it is to be a captain. It's you're not the cook, you're not the engineer, you're not the oiler, you're the captain. So not more about getting up there, getting the reins, getting the wheel, and want to drive. You got to be on captain first. And that is the first thing I do in any vessel I get on, any vessel, is I go right to the head and I look at the toilet. If that toilet is less than perfect, that is what I think of the crew all the time. Because we are men, we are not children. We learn to be clean, and if you can take care of that, whatever your job is on the boat, you should really be real good.
We have maybe about 15 minutes left. So do you want to talk a little bit about the book, U'uku
Oh,
Kahana?
Ukahana, Ukukalawa. I don't know if you guys can. Anyway, it's a children's book, and it was written little work, little gain, under my father's axiom of life, which is if you don't work, you don't eat. We have everything, every social, in every nationality, every country, every place you go, you'll have that. The apathy of, oh, I no can, oh, I don't want. Okay, then no eat. You mess up in this hour, you can go over there around the point. And then if the other guy accepts you, that's fine. But he gonna know why you left that hour. But when we went, Auntie and I went for a presentation in Kahului, Kapenabani Kahapia, and our staff invited us to go over there. After we sat, and this is in Aloy, in Kahului, and I was blown away coming from Waianae. and they sat and then they asked me questions about, Uncle, how you did this, how you ended up over there. And I went from early times, and today as clear as a bell. My father used to go and we'd see the tugs and barges coming from Kauai, or going over from Honolulu to Kauai, out in the ocean. And I always used to ask him, wow, that is really cool, man. And then I told him, I asked him what they did. And, he told me about hauling cargo and everything else. But that really, I've learned at a very, very young age before even thinking that about why we had to do what we had to do, even sweeping, mopping, cleaning the table, washing the dishes. I don't like cook rice, then eat. So that kind of stuff we learn at a very early age. And ukukana, ukukaloa, teaches young children. And I would caution parents, make sure your child knows the word yes and no. And very, very important. I can only tell you that much. But yeah, ukukana, ukukaloa, Bonnie and her staff got together, Mahelani. And after we did the book, I didn't know that Kule Aloha Chan, her uncle sailed with me. He was a cook on my tug. And I've known him for years. And when she sat and talked with me, that inspired her to go find out how we can do that. And when she told me what it was for, and the lessons learned will be ukukalo, little work, little gain. And that was the only thing I wanted her to get across to children. Because my goodness, I cannot even imagine how my mom or my dad did it, but they did well. Ukukana, ukukaloa, you can get it. And it's with the Kanihunamoku Voyaging Academy. And the proceeds go towards their funds to keep that school, keep educating people in the maritime industry. And that's so important. What Kapena Kahape and Matt Clayball with Maramed is doing is amazing. Google that names. You guys get a hold of them. If you have children who want to go to sea, I encourage you to do that.
There's one more question in the chat. It's what's next for you?
What's next for me? Oh boy, Uncle is I could never every waking moment I gotta be busy. Something, my guitar in my shop or whatever. And the hardest thing for me was to, complete and get this art of doing nothing down. And it is very taxing because I have always was busy, always had a schedule, always going here, going there. Well, what is up for me is to have a quiet time and go visit family and relatives, go travel. We're gonna do road trips and stuff like that. And we like to do that. We like to go to other places. I guess as voyagers, we just want to go see over the hill, see what it looks like. But that is my my goal, and I do collaborate with both Kanihona Moku and Maritime Career Flourish Program with Maramid. I also communicate with a bunch of groups I'm with in Honolulu. And it's been busy on the legislative side. And the side where I stay as busy as Auntie allow me to. Then she said, okay, turn it off. Okay, honey, let's go. Because I like to go eat too. But that for me is to, in July, I'll be 70. I don't believe. It's just that I want to just do what Auntie like. Mama never raised no dummy. But that is, yeah, just stay on auntie's way.
I think that's very smart advice. Um, Good you follow that.
Yes, I do.
Okay, here's a question from Maui. What's the best suggestion you have for working with difficult shipmates?
Okay, the last part.
What's the best suggestion you have for working with difficult shipmates? So, you know,
Oh, difficult shipmates.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Talk to the captain. Yeah, I don't care who you are, but if you're the captain, you're screwed. So go take care of your own dirty business. For a less than now, safety and competency comes into question. If it compromises any of that, then everybody got to speak up because somebody gonna get hurt. And how I deal with an less than agreeable shipmate is to take them up to the bridge and ask him, "You want to be here?" And he gonna tell me yes or no. And I know within 12, 14 hours I'm gonna be on another port. Yep, can send on tiki. Rather going home. But I will not compromise the safety of the tug. If he is, again, if it's a matter of competency, that's it. Right there, we got to take care. Okay, as far as his personality, we can do something about the smell, you know, go bathe, bro. But as far as this, I don't, there's nothing fair about working on a tugboat. Nothing fair at all. Oh, kana, you'll be a man or not, get over here and do your job. When you go eat and go sleep. Have a captain take that shipmate up to the bridge and have company policies, the union contract, and everything there on the table. And then tell them why it is so bad and why when we get into port, I gotta go talk to the port captain. Now the thing is, but if you do that and get up to the port captain, it's too late. As a master, you should be able to take care of it on the tug. And I had no shortage in shipmates when it's time for go. We went and got the thing done. But again, for that question, excellent question, safety and competency. It has to be met in order to do your minimum. And the ocean taxes you to your maximum all the time. I love the ocean.
So would you say like a big part of that is maybe communication too, yeah?
Yeah, like who your mother? What? Yeah, I know your mother, bro. She not like that. Wait till your father find out. It was, and this, I got guys on a tug, they're more local than local. They're from Louisiana, they're from California, Oregon. They come to Hawaii and work over there. In due time, yeah, they're eating ake or something. We're not gonna
I'm
tell
not
them
even,
because they never
yeah,
know they ate it. That was good.
I'm not there yet either. And I'm born and raised here. If anybody has any more questions for Uncle, we have about 6 minutes left. We do ask that you fill out the presentation evaluation form. We've been sharing the link in the chat because you can win either a copy of An American Sunrise, Nana Kumu Volume 3, or Living Nations, Living Words, and in a really cool Big Read Hawaii book tote too. Okay, so there's another question. When are you coming back to Oahu?
Hui. Yeah, we got to do some things with Sauce Brothers, but we're waiting for all of this virus parameters to get lessened. And then that one in September, I'll be coming back about 3 times this year.
Right on. I think that was from somebody you know. I think she had said her name was Ui in the
That's my niece. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So that is awesome. Awesome to hear. Um, oh, Uncle is in Las Vegas.
Yeah. By the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now everybody knows.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. I've been here a long time. Yeah. I left Honolulu because when Auntie and I finally figured we're gonna be on a fixed income, you know, I just told her, well, when we retire, we gotta go someplace where we can eat. Oh, okay. Yeah, Las Vegas is you can eat over there. It's I think yeah, $2 for a bottle of milk. I mean, 49 cents a dozen eggs. Kind of man, you wonder where these chickens from. But it's good. It's for anybody with a fixed income. Las Vegas is good.
well, we're just glad that you get to come back and visit soon.
Oh yeah. Again, for anybody again wishing to go to see the contact the Marriott Foundation or Captain Bonnie, because it's an amazing life out there, amazing opportunity to see things you've never seen before, to experience um, the people you work with mostly, and that makes every voyage, every time you let go those lines, accountable for whatever we need to do, and we still enjoy uh, ourselves sailing like that. My father, I could never understand why he, as soon as he power on a man, he changed clothes and let's go, you know, and he take us in the ocean. The ocean is something that we must malama and take care of. So you guys get okay, you got rubbish down there, pick them up and take them home. Thank you, Kavena, for your time, for your UH, Wessel, yeah, James and Abigail Campbell Library for hosting me. I am glad to have shared my time with something as worthy as this. And I gladly do it again.
Okay, we actually have two more questions for you.
Oops.
I could start with the one that might take a little bit longer.
Okay.
How many women sail on the tugboats in Hawaii?
Right as of this talking right now, I got no idea. I got no idea. I think we had two on the YB side and all of that. Companies and actually that's everything. Everybody's on the mainland. There's a lot of wahinis on the tugs. We just need to again persist because I got some wahinis I work with. Tell you what, put some of these guys to shame, man. When it comes to work, I gotta tell them stop. You know, yeah, take it easy. But yeah, Uncle don't know how many, and that can be easily accessed to the archives in Hawaii.
Okay, and your final question is, what is your favorite fish to eat?
Favorite fish to eat is fresh mahi mai, sashimi, cooked. I used to love when I eat hanapa early in the morning, so we have mahi mahi and eggs with spam for breakfast. Pretty good stuff. No, Uncle like mahi mahi for reef fish, kala for me.
You just made me hungry. Um, so with that, if nobody else has any more questions for Uncle, we're gonna start to wrap up here. Mahalo, Uncle, for sharing your time with us. I think we all really appreciated hearing from you and hearing about your experiences. So mahalo for sharing your time with us. Again, if you want to purchase a copy of Uuku Kahana Uuku Kaloa'a, you can do so. We've dropped the link in the chat. We've also shared the evaluation link. So if you could please fill those out so we can continue to offer awesome presentations like these. You can also enter to win a copy of a book or a tote bag, and a tote bag, sorry. And then our next Moʻolelo presentation is actually on Thursday with Auntie Lynette and Ka'ai'ai Paglinawan, and they'll be sharing about their practices as Ho'oponopono practitioners and being 2 generations of Native Hawaiian social workers. So you can head to the Mo'olelo website to register for that. And mahalo ia'o ko pakahia pau no ka hele ana mai i keia ho'ike. E mālama pono kākou.